Okay, Congressman, for those who aren't familiar, who is Ron Paul, and describe yourself as a candidate?
Well, I'm an OBGYN doctor that ran for Congress and was elected in the 70s, re-elected in the 90s after a spell of being out for 12 years. Now I'm running for the presidency on the Republican ticket to make sure that people hear a message of individual freedom and the Constitution, limited government, and a foreign policy which would end the war in Iraq.
You are making some waves, you are gaining in popularity, but you're still not up there with the top four. What do you need to do to be amongst those names?
Do very well in a very friendly state called Nevada, and we are doing fine, and that's why we're here. It's an early primary, and I think if we have a good showing here, a lot of people are going to pay a lot more attention, so we're working very hard here as well as some of the other early primaries.
You're the only Republican candidate who voted against the war and still has a stance against the war in Iraq. Does that help you or hurt you as a Republican candidate?
Well, it helps me as an American candidate. I mean, it's a challenge in the Republican primary because not so much that they love the war, but they tend to want to be loyal to the party and loyal to the president. And I especially have to I understand that in Texas, and I understand that. But when it comes to popularity, since 70-some% of the people now want us home, it's a very, very popular position. What it does, it opens up the door to invite disgruntled Republicans who have dropped out a few years ago, independents and Democrats who aren't happy with their party. They're coming and joining us in our campaign, so it's a very powerful issue.
You're getting some strong support from a very vociferous group, the young people. Explain that and how it's helping your campaign.
Well, I've argued that we complain that our public school system's not very good and they haven't had a good education. But jokingly, but half serious, I say they've learned their arithmetic and they know what they're getting. They're getting a social security system that doesn't work and a war that's not going well, an entitlement system that they can't pay for. And they love the idea of personal freedom. They love the idea of rule of law and the Constitution. And young people have always led, quote, revolution, significant changes. They're principled people, and they like the idea of standing on principle, and the young people have joined us.
How about the internet, all the bloggers that are creating quite a stir on your behalf?
Well, sometimes they more or less carry the campaign or push the campaign because they raise money for us. It's all spontaneous. They volunteer. One day last week, we had one day where 20,000 new people signed up and sent money all in one day. And the internet is a tool that has never been used like this in our history. Even 4 years ago, it wasn't used like this. And when young people get energized and they have a tool, it's a real political equalizer. So we can compete now with the powerful special interests who collect millions and millions of dollars for the other candidates because they have a special interest to serve. In this case, we have a special interest. That's individuals who are banding together for different reasons, but they come together for one thing: they'd like to be left alone, and they endorse the ideas of freedom.
You ran as a Libertarian in 1988. Why the switch to Republican?
I don't think of it as a switch because I've been elected 10 times to the Congress as a Republican. I was in the Libertarian Party and ran as a Libertarian in 1988, so I don't think of it so much as a switch. I still have close association with the Libertarian Party. I think the Founding Fathers were Libertarians. I think everybody believes in liberty, and that's what Libertarianism is. The reason that it's better to run in a major party is the laws are biased against any third party, whether it's left, right, or center. It's real hard to get on ballots. You can't get in debates. Unfortunately, we don't have as much democracy here as we pretend to have, and so we're limited. And if you come to the conclusion that Republicans and Democrats aren't all that much different, it's sort of a shame. But right now, the vehicle available to me is to be in the party that I've been elected in, for these past 20 years.
One last question here. You have created a stir. Your numbers are gaining. What stance do you think is going to keep the momentum going?
I think in general it's just the idea of freedom and limited government and fiscal responsibility, but the attention getter is the foreign policy, because I can save money by bringing our troops home and we can end the war. And if we save enough money there, we really can tide over so many people here at home that are hurting, and some of the programs that aren't perfect, but at least we don't want to put people out in the street here at home, but we can save literally hundreds of billions of dollars by changing our foreign policy.
Okay, Congressman.